Hello, everybody. Thank you so much for tuning in tonight. My name is Jesse Mayfield-Sheehan. I am coming to you live from the campus of Newton South High School in Newton, Massachusetts. Here to bring you live coverage of today's high school varsity girls soccer contest between the hosting Newton South High Lions and the visiting Brookline High Warriors. For those of you joining us from our earlier JV broadcast of today's action between these two schools, this is now the second part of a girls' soccer doubleheader today. Happy to be able to cover both games today as they were being played back-to-back. Brookline JV took care of business with a 3-0 victory over the Lions, that game having just wrapped up a few minutes ago. And now we're here for the varsity players to get their turn. These two teams faced off in a varsity match back in Brookline on September 11th, with Brookline coming through with a thrilling comeback victory by a final score of 3-2. After Newton South built a 2-0 lead early, Brookline managed to come back and score 3 unanswered goals late in the second half to get a thrilling win there for their first win of the season in what was Brookline's home opener. Now here they are for the rematch on the Lions' home turf, and we'll see what kind of game they have in store for us here. Brookline comes into this game with an overall record of 3-2-1. They stand 9th in the first MIAA Division I power rankings. The first power rankings came out yesterday on September 29th. Newton South comes into this one with a record of 1-3-2. They are ranked 24th in the power rankings. But as we've seen from the last time these two teams faced off, you never know what's going to happen when Brookline and Newton South face off. We got about 6 minutes left on the pregame clock, so let's take a look at the rosters coming in today. We'll try and read them through them pretty quick. We'll start with the hosting Newton South High Lions, who you can see over here on the left side in their orange jerseys with blue jersey numbers. Going in order of jersey number for Newton South, first off, we have a senior captain, number 1, Amanda Cosgrove. Next, we have a junior, number 2, Jackie Ginsberg. A junior, number 3, Kate Zella. A senior captain, number 4, Sienna Masood. A junior, number 5, Sofia Dos Anjos. A senior, number 6, Enya Vehi. A senior, number 7, Juliana Gomez-Reynoso. A junior, number 8, Leilani Fulke. A senior captain, number 9, Maddie Lewis. A junior, number 10, Noemia Walkman Gonsalves. A junior, number 11, Megan Holt. A sophomore, number 12, Sarah Schwartz. A sophomore, number 13, Samantha Elliott. A sophomore, number 14, Tess McDonald. A sophomore, number 15, Joelle Weldon. A senior captain, number 17, Haley Smith. A sophomore, number 18, Summer Flannery. A junior, number 19, Salila Cintron. A junior, number 21, Lauren Kelly. A freshman, number 22, Dahlia Firuzabadi. A sophomore, number 23, Lindsay Glass. A junior, number 25, Layla Confer. And a senior captain, number 26, Nadia Mustafa. Head coach of the Newton South High girls soccer team is Angie Sutherland. So that's the varsity roster for the Newton South High Lions. Now let's move over to the right side where we can see in their white jerseys with their blue outline style jersey numbers. Let's take a look at the roster for the visiting Brookline High Warriors. Once again, going in order of jersey number for Brookline. First off, we have a freshman, number 1, Paige Hammond. A sophomore, number 3, Jada Kimbrough. A junior manager, number 4, Ashley Cherwin. A junior captain with 2 goals and 2 assists on the season thus far, number 5, Vilena Chernichev. A freshman with 2 assists, number 7, Haley Ament. A freshman, number 8, Juliana Siegel. A junior with 1 goal, number 9, McKenna Hammond. A senior captain with 2 goals, number 12, Amra Ukamadu. A sophomore, number 13, Julia Vianello. A sophomore, number 14, Mirabelle Kesselman. A junior, number 15, Babette Hall. A junior, number 16, Nora Shue. A sophomore with 1 assist, number 17, Lila Cannon. A junior captain with 1 goal and 1 assist, number 18, Anna Leshley. A junior captain with 2 goals, number 19, Sydney Freeze. A sophomore, number 20, Amalia Lindgren Palm. A junior, number 21, Greta Radke. A freshman, number 23, Jameson McGee. A senior with 1 goal, number 24, Emma Eisenhower. And there are 2 goalkeepers on the roster for Brookline, a junior, Julia Cherwin, and a freshman, Chloe Price. Head coach of the Brookline High girls soccer team is Ben Peters. So we got about a minute and a half on the pregame clock now, as we will soon be getting this one underway. Their last matchup turned into a thrilling comeback by Brookline for the 3-2 win. What's going to be the result today? We will soon find out. From Newton South High School, I am Jesse Mayfield-Sheehan. It is Brookline against Newton South, Warriors against Lions. I am Jesse Mayfield-Sheehan, and you are watching Brookline High Soccer. Kick through, finds its target, freeze! There's the whistle, shot is in! Sends a leading pass, crashing, Leshley scores! All right, we timed out our pregame stuff pretty well tonight as we're about to get this one underway. Wi-Fi is actually looking pretty strong so far in this one. We had a little bit of shakiness on the Wi-Fi during the JV broadcast, so happy to see a signal looking strong, you know, so far, hoping it stays that way. You know, knock on the nearest wood I can find. Up here in the Newton South press box, which the folks here at Newton South were kind enough to allow me to use. But if anything is looking bad in terms of the connection, in terms of the quality of the stream, I encourage you to let me know in the live chat. You know, I am recording this while streaming it, so I can always upload a recording later if the stream ends up being low quality. And of course, plenty of other great reasons to participate in the live chat. If you simply want to say go Brookline or go Newton South, no matter who you're rooting for, we appreciate fans bringing the good vibes and supporting their favorite team in the live chat. And if you want to give a shout out specifically to your favorite player, that's always fun. Want to let us know where you're tuning in from? That's fun too with these online live streams that can be watched all over the world. Like I said, if there are any technical difficulties, please let me know. And if I'm butchering the pronunciation of any names, please, again, let me know.
We thank you for your cooperation in making our games a positive experience for opponents, officials, and our own team. The officials for today's game are enrolled by the MIAA.
And of course, as always, if you end up enjoying this live stream, I encourage you to hit the like button and subscribe to the channel.
For Brookline, goalkeeper Julia Cherwin.
Getting full starting lineups today. I like to see that.
Haley Ament. Number 2, Julia Vianello. Number 19, Sydney Freeze. Number 15, Babette Hall. Number 9, McKenna Hammond. Number 18, Anna Leshley. Number 16, Nora Shue. Number 5, Velena Turnichev. Number 24, Emma Eisenhower. And number 12, Amara Okamandu. The head coach for Brookline is Mr. Ben Peters. And now for the Newton South Lions. First, number 1, Amanda Cosgrove. Number 2, Jackie Ginsberg. Number 3, Kate Zella. Number 4, Sienna Masood. Number 5, Sofia Dos Anjos. Number 7, Juliana Gomes Reynoso. Number 9, Maddie Lewis. Number 11, Megan Holt. Number 17, Haley Smith. Number 22, Dahlia Firuzabadi. And number 25, Layla Confrey. The head coach for Newton South is Miss Angie Sutherland. At this time, we invite you to stand for the national anthem. We also ask you please respect the decisions of those who choose not to stand. Thank you.
right, that was the playing of our national anthem and the starting lineups for both teams, and we will soon be getting this one underway. I see we've got our first note in the live chat from Brookline superfan Yuli Burstein. Very simple, go Warriors. Happy to see you tuning in as always, Yuli. 40 minutes on the clock for the first half. Brookline and Newton South. Every time I see these two face off, it's such a thrilling contest. The first time I think I ever saw a game between these two was actually in the state tournament 2 years ago, back when senior captain Amra Ukamadu was just a sophomore and junior captains Vilena Chernichev, Anna Leshley, and Sydney Freeze were just freshmen. They were facing off against Newton South in the round of 8 after a big upset win over Franklin, and ultimately lost that one. I think 2-0 was the final score that Newton South won by. And since then, every time I've seen these two face off, it's always been a thriller. They faced off twice in the regular season last year. Brookline won on their home field 1-0 off a goal by Chernichev in that one. They fought to a scoreless tie here in Newton last year. And as I said earlier this year, in September, it was Newton South building a 2-0 lead, but then Brookline coming through with a thrilling 3 unanswered goal comeback to win 3-2. So it just seems like no matter when these two face off, it's always going to be a thriller. So look out for this one, folks, because here we go. Newton South to get the opening possession, and I believe it's number 7, Juliana Gomez-Reynoso, getting us started, and it is, and here we go. First kick is deflected by Ukamadu, and she is flying upfield. Newton South manages to clear it out, but it's taken by Nora Shu, pass to the middle, deflected a couple of times, winds up at the feet of Emma Eisenhower. Pass to the outside, sent up that far sideline, and it gets up to Ukamadu. Ukamadu trying to race. She's surrounded by orange jerseys everywhere, and it's cleared away by the Lions. And a hard collision going up for that ball. They're going to call the penalty on Newton South. I believe that was on number 9, Maddie Lewis. Brookline trying to work it up fast again. They get it to Ukamadu. Touch pass for Leshley. Anna Leshley dribbling towards the middle. Sends a through pass for Chernichev. Offsides. Brookline wasting no time being aggressive on the offensive side. They've really come to define their identity as a team this year by their offense, and it's been working fairly well for them as they have earned a spot in the top 10 in the first power rankings for Division 1. Ukamadu controlling the ball on the far side, fakes around one defender, sends a leading pass for McKenna Hammond. No offside. She tries to tap it through. It's kicked away. That's going to force a corner kick, a clutch deflection away by number 3, Kate Zella. As McKenna Hammond kept playing, didn't hear a whistle, and tried to just tap one past the keeper to keep it nice and safe, but didn't have enough force on it to where it could outspeed the retreating Zella. Brookline setting up for the corner kick. And they send in a low one. This is Chernichev. Kicks to the middle. It bounces past Eisenhower, and she might have been offsides anyhow. Correction, that was not Chernichev. I think that might have been Haley Ament who took that kick after the initial pass out of the corner. Either way, Amanda Cosgrove setting up for the goal kick. This one comes in low, bouncing along. Off a deflection from Chernichev. Leshley manages to push it back to Eisenhower, who sends it back for Babette Hall, who dribbles around a defender. Hall taps to the near side for Sydney Freeze, who gets walled off. Trying to keep it in bounds, just barely keeping it in bounds is number 11, Megan Holt, with help from number 12, Sarah Schwartz. But Chernichev takes it away, sends it up the near sideline. McKenna Hammond forces the defender to kick it out, and it's going to be a throw-in for Brookline about as far deep down the sideline as you can get without getting a corner kick. Nora Shu throws it in for Chernychev, tapped back to Shu. Shu tries a pass, walled off, knocked out of bounds by number 4, Sienna Massoud. Or no, they call... Did they call Brookline for offsides there? I think they must have called Brookline for something because Newton South is setting up for a free kick, and it's going to be taken by the keeper, Cosgrove. Cosgrove boots it high. Deflects towards the middle. Booted upfield by Leshley, and they call the penalty on Leshley for kicking too high when a player's nearby. Newton South setting up for the free kick from about the 45-yard line of the football field. I think this is Haley Smith taking this one, and it is. Fly Oates towards the box, goes off ahead the wrong way for Newton South. Tapped by the head of Chernychev, and now Hammond trying to push it forward. McKenna Hammond off to the races, but Massoud disrupting. Chernychev tried to help, but Massoud gets it upfield. Gets away from the target. Shu takes it away, but a pass intercepted by Massoud. Massoud, a centering pass, finds its target, but couldn't corral it cleanly, and it's stolen away by Leshley. Attempted clear is walled off, and a shot bounces wide. That shot fired by number 2, Jackie Ginsberg, as the pursuit from number 9, Maddie Lewis, applied forward pressure. We're less than 5 minutes in, and we've already had so much action. Up the far side to Ament. Ament tries to kick it up the line, deflected away. It winds up at the feet of Lewis. Lewis gaining the edge, tries a crosser. Nobody there, kicked away by Babette Hall. Goes up to Leshley. Leshley dribbling, gives it to Chernychev. Chernychev back up to Leshley. Leshley has to send it back to Hall. Hall dribbling, sends it up the far side. Lane wasn't there, and it's kicked away by number 5, Sofia Dos Anjos. Pass to the middle to Chernychev, now over to Leshley, back to Hall. Hall up to Chernychev. Chernychev battling, taken away by Massoud, who is making her presence known early. This one walled down by Julia Vianello, kicked up to Eisenhower and given to Leshley. Leshley up to Hammond, now out to Chernychev. Chernychev kicking a leader. Up the near side, Freeze racing after it. Freeze gets there. Freeze fakes out the defender, starts dribbling in, looking, tries to send a pass through. Hammond crashing. They get tripped. Hammond trying to get back up. Hammond shot walled. Haley Smith came sliding in to wall off the shot from McKenna Hammond, who refused to give up after she had the legs taken out from under her. And now we've got a Brookline corner kick. Boy, I don't know about the rest of you, but I'm getting amped already. This is Brookline versus Newton, and I love it. I believe this is Chernychev setting up for the corner. In there, header! Over the bar! That was actually a header by, I think, Chernychev, as that was, the corner kick was taken by Ament. Again, my mistake on the identification. But boy, Velena Chernychev, about the last player you would expect to score off a corner kick header, as she's one of the shorter players out there, but a well-placed kick. Anyone can score with it. Kicked up fields taken by Shu. Shu tries to send it up the middle, disrupted by Massoud. Sent out to the near side by Newton South. Racing up is number 11, tries a crosser, walled by Shu, but she recovers. Pass to the middle. Massoud launches, goes high and wide. That was Megan Holt, who tried to send it to the middle, got it to Massoud, but Massoud just couldn't get her foot on it right. And it'll be a goal kick for Brookline. A quick goal kick up the middle to Leshley. Leshley sends to the outside to Ament. Ament up the line, deflecting back and forth, and it's going to be taken by the Lions. Across the back line. Now sent up the middle. This is Gomez Reynoso. Reynoso sends it forward, but out of range for Holt and out of bounds. Throw in to Hall. Hall couldn't get around Reynoso. Taken by Lewis, tried to pass for Reynoso, disrupted by Shu, but then she recovers, gives it to Holt. Holt floats in a shot, and it's caught easily by Julia Cherwin. Rolls it in for Leshley. Leshley dribbling up the middle to the outside to Ament. Ament sends it back up to Leshley. Leshley turns around up to Hammond. Hammond trying to escape the defensive pressure, tries to pass back, disrupted, taken back, and it's sent up to Lewis. Lewis sending a leader, but nobody there, and it's scooped up by Cherwin. Newton South applying some strong forward pressure here in the early minutes of the first half as Cherwin punts it towards the far side, and it's knocked out of bounds. They say last touched by Newton South, as it was Ginsburg racing after the ball against Ukamadou. Throwing up the line, knocked out of bounds immediately by the Lions. Another throw in, up the line. Smith kicks it out, stays Brookline ball. Throw-in goes back to Leshley this time. Leshley dribbling towards the middle. Pass intercepted by Masood. Clear kick taken by Hall, sent up to Chernychev. Chernychev taps it back to Leshley. Leshley sending a leader through. Ukamadou racing in! Crosser stopped by Cosgrove! It was a great leading kick. Ukamadou showing off that signature speed of hers to race up and get the ball, but she only had an angle for a crosser, and Cosgrove cut off that angle. Hall kicks it back off the head of Chernychev, kicked forward by Freeze, kicked back by the defensive line. It's taken by Leshley, passed over to Eisenhower, give and go back to Leshley. Leshley dribbling. Heading towards the far side, matched up with Smith. Passes back to Ament. Ament winds and kicks it towards the box. Caught out of the air by Cosgrove. Cosgrove punts it, kind of sliced it off the head of Chernychev, going the wrong way, and it's corralled by the Lions. A leading kick, and it's a race to the ball. Scooped up by Cherwin. Holt was racing after that. Almost a dangerous chance for the Lions. We're a little over 10 minutes in to this first half, just over 29 minutes on the clock here in the first half. Leshley passes it back to Vianello, up to Ament. Now to Leshley. Leshley taps it out to Ament. Ament cuts back to the middle to Chernychev and up to Leshley. Eisenhower, excuse me. Eisenhower sends the leading kick up. Ukamadou racing. Ukamadou crossing, and again it's grabbed by Cosgrove. Boy, you can't take your eyes off this action for a second, folks. Off the head of Leshley, it is downed by Newton South, and they send it up to Holt. Holt sends a pass, gets to Reynoso. Reynoso racing against Hall, stops, and it's poked away by Hall. Good defense by the Brookline center back. Passes it over to Shu. Shu tries to send it up the line. Cut off by Holt. Holt walled, but it's recovered by Reynoso. Pass intercepted by Freeze, but knocked away by Holt. Shu boxing out and simply kicks it out the sideline. It'll be a throw-in for the Lions. Throw in, tap, cleared out by Freeze. Smith gets to the ball first and boots it right back. Headed down by Hall, recovered by Masood. Freeze boxing out, takes the ball. Freeze pass to Leshley. Leshley turns back around and passes it back to Vianello. Vianello upfield. Ukamadou recovers the ball, keeps it in bounds, passes back to Ament. Ament up the line for Ukamadou, broken up. Lewis trying to send a leading pass. Ament backing down against Ginsburg, and now that one kicked out of bounds. Last touched, I believe, by Ginsburg, and so it's going to be a throw-in for Brookline. I didn't even see where it was, but they do get the throw-in. Pass it back to Vianello. Now back to Cherwin. Cherwin boots it up the far side, knocked away by the Lions, but recovered by Leshley. Leshley to the outside to Ament. Ament up the line to Ukamadou. Ukamadou dribbling, trying to race up the sideline, gain the edge. Her defender falls down. She tries to cut around, gets a pass to Eisenhower. Poked away, but Eisenhower recovers, sends it back to Leshley. Leshley up the middle, trying to break through. Leshley curving around. Leshley still dribbling, looking. Sends a pass back to Eisenhower. Eisenhower's kick walled. Eisenhower recovers and sends one too far through, and it's picked up by Cosgrove. Throw in deflected, gets to Leshley. Leshley turning around and back around, sends it back to Hall. Hall up to Chernychev and back to Hall. Across to Vianello. Vianello up the line to Ament. Ament over to Eisenhower. Now to Leshley. Leshley leading for Chernychev. Chernychev fires and misses, but they called offsides anyhow. And that's the thing. Newton South is a smart team. They know that if they look for a leading pass, if they jump up at just the right time, they'll get that offsides call. Free kick for the Lions. Cosgrove sends it low up the middle. It gets to Massoud. Massoud kicks it upfield, but it's going to roll right into the waiting arms of Cherwin. Quickly rolls it into Hall. Hall taps it back to Cherwin. Cherwin back up to Hall. Hall dribbling, sends a pass out to the near side to Shu. Shu to the middle, intercepted by Massoud. Massoud sends a pass, knocked away by Vianello. Deflects off Dos Anjos. Dos Anjos battling with Ukamadou. Ukamadou trying to push it forward. Ukamadou stops. Got some space. Launches a kick towards the middle. Off the foot of Massoud. And it deflects out. Holt recovers. Taps it forward. Nobody there. Taken by Hall. Up to Leshley. Leshley out to Ament. Ament to Leshley. Up to Chernychev. Back to Eisenhower. Eisenhower tries to lift it, but walled off, I believe, by Haley Smith as Newton South works it up, but nobody there. It's taken easily by Hall. Sent back to Cherwin. Up to Vianello. Vianello disrupted. It's knocked away. And they call a penalty on Brookline. And a timeout appears to have been called. So when the action resumes, we'll have a free kick for Newton South. This could be a very interesting, very big play coming up. Out of the timeout. It's going to be a free kick parallel with about the 24-yard line of the football field. Interesting angle to be kicking from for Newton South. Might try for a crosser into the box. Masood kicks it low, and it bounces wide of the net, and Sherwin just lets it go out. It'll be a goal kick. Sherwin just taps it for Hall, who gives it over to Vianello. Up the line to Ament. Ament up to Ukamadou. Ukamadou over to Eisenhower. Eisenhower trying to stay with it, manages to recover despite the defensive pressure, gets it back to Hall, up to Chernychev. Chernychev keeps dribbling, pass up, got away from Ukamadou. She's chasing down, trying to recover it, but it's knocked loose by Smith and booted away, headed down, kicked forward again, and that's going to roll out of bounds, and that'll be a goal kick. Just over 22 minutes left here in the first half. We've seen plenty of ebbs and flows from both teams. Right now, Newton South in these past couple of minutes has been controlling the pressure. Hall kicks it up to Freeze. Freeze dribbling, sends it up to Hammond. Hammond tried to send one through, but it goes off ahead. Battling, and it's knocked out of bounds by Shu, as that went off the head of number 18, Summer Flannery, who I think might have been one of the subs to come in. Abadi throws it in, and it's taken by Freeze. Pass up to Hammond. Hammond breaks around her defender. McKenna Hammond off to the races, tries to cut towards the middle. Hammond tries a pass, walled off by Smith. Deflection recovered for a second by Leshley, and she pushes it to the outside where Ament manages to keep it in bounds. Ament dribbling, pass, give and go to the outside, kicked out by the Lions. Quick throw in from Brookline, booted high in the air, and that's going to fly out of bounds behind the net. Cosgrove setting up for the goal kick. Comes in low, deflected into the air by Chernychev. And Ukamadou corrals it. Ukamadou tried to send a leader through, but it's deflected. Ukamadou keeps pushing it forward, so does Hammond. Hammond turns around, sends it to the outside. Eisenhower chasing it down. Eisenhower turns around, sends one to the middle, gets to Ukamadou. Ukamadou matched up with Smith, tries a crosser, missed! Oh, it was just barely missed by a crashing Hammond. Cleared out by the Lions, and they're trying to work on the counter, but Shu intercepts. Shu sends it forward, just barely touched by Chernychev, but it's going to be chased down by the Lions defense. Taken by Shu once again. Shu dribbling up, taps it for Freeze. Freeze now racing in from the near side. Freeze, crosser! Booted away by Smith. Few exciting chances for Brookline early in this one. Chernychev, pass for Freeze. Freeze. Pass intercepted by Masood. Masood kicks it upfield. Race to the ball. Going to be won by Hall. Sent back to Sherwin. Sherwin passes it back to Hall. Hall racing upfield. Pass up to Chernychev. Sends one through to Leshley. Leshley tried to pass, walled by Smith. But Leshley not giving up the pursuit. She wrestles it right back. Leshley touches it through to Chernychev. Chernychev sending a leader too far. Scooped up by Cosgrove. Cosgrove punts it. Cross midfield. Off the head of Lewis. They call the penalty on Hall. This is going to be a free kick coming not from Masood, but from Smith. Smith lifts it towards the box, off the head, I think, of Leshley, and kicked away by Vianello. Masood trying to recover, but Hammond takes it for herself. Now touches it out to Chernychev. Chernychev kicks a leader. Off to the races. Sydney Freeze charging in. Shot is in! Sydney Freeze off the assist from Vilena Chernychev. Let's check out the instant replay. It all started with McKenna Hammond wrestling the ball away from Masood, passed it out to Chernychev, and then Chernychev, with confidence that her teammate could race after it, sent the leader, and Freeze broke out and just patiently kept charging, and then once the goalie came out, she fired the shot far post and put it in for the first goal of the game. Sydney Freeze, who had her first goal of the season in that September 11 game against Newton South, gets her third goal of the season. She now leads the team in goals. Not bad for a former center back. Meanwhile, Chernychev, who got both of her 2 assists on the season thus far in that game against Newton South, including one to Freeze, adds a team-leading 3rd assist on the season. All of them coming against the Lions. 1-0, Brookline leads. Just over 17 minutes left in the first half. Zella forced to kick that one out of bounds. Freeze throws it in for Hammond. And Hammond was trying to corral it, but just couldn't get her foot on it right, and that'll be a goal kick. Couple subs checking in for Brookline. I believe that's number 14, Mirabelle Kesselman, and number 17, Lila Kennan, replacing Emma Eisenhower and McKenna Hammond. Cosgrove's kick is off the knee of Cannon. Cannon fighting against Firuzabadi, and it's lost out of bounds. It'll stay Brookline ball. It's going to be thrown in by Shu. Thrown into Cannon, tapped back to Shu. Shu winds up, hits a crosser, and it's booted away, I believe, by Dos Anjos. Headed back by Leshley. Cannon crashing, and it's scooped up by Cosgrove. Again, Brookline, a strong offensive identity this season, and they are not letting up as Zella kicks that one away. It's controlled by Kesselman. Kesselman fighting, kicked away by Flannery, recovered by Brookline, and the pass goes back to Hall. Hall sends it up the field, touched by Freeze, but kicked away by Zella. Shu has it, but Shu is outnumbered there, and it's recovered by Lewis. Sent back to Flannery, and up to Lewis, further up to Holt. Holt sends a crosser, intercepted by Vianello. Vianello upfield, misses Kesselman, gets to Cannon, tapped to the outside. Nobody going to be able to get there in time. That just rolls out of bounds. We got a substitution coming in for Newton South, replacing Kate Zella on the back line. I'm trying to read the jersey number. I'll pick it up as I can, as this one's knocked out of bounds. Throw in. And again, knocked out of bounds. Another throw in when Brookline wasn't looking, but now it gets booted away by Ament. Out of bounds, still Lions ball. A little over 14 minutes left here in the first half. Brookline leads 1-0 off the goal by Sydney Freeze, assisted by Vilena Chernychev. And it's almost kind of a shame that secondary assists aren't a thing in soccer the way they are in hockey, because McKenna Hammond did play a very big role in that scoring play for Brookline as Newton South threatens, walled off just barely by Hall. Chernychev touches it to Leshley. Leshley up to Freeze. Freeze up to Leshley. Leshley's got some space to dribble. Cutting towards the middle, sends it out for Cannon. Too far. Leshley was drawing the double coverage there and had Cannon wide open, but it can be so hard to time those leading passes as we've seen a couple of times already today. This is Kesselman taking it down the far side. Kesselman sends it back to Chernychev. Chernychev back to Hall. Deflected, and Shu. Shu's got some space to dribble. Nora Shu working through. Nora Shu tried to send one in and just nowhere near anybody, and it's going to be scooped up by Cosgrove. Punt towards midfield, knocked back down by Leshley, and I believe they just called offsides on Cannon. Cannon was behind Smith when that kick was deflected by Leshley. I don't think Cannon quite expected a ball to come back to her, so she wasn't thinking about offsides at that moment. This one kicked off the head of Chernychev, off the head of Firuzabadi. Controlled by Ukamadou. Ukamadou racing up the field, sending a leading pass, but no angle there. Smith cuts it off, and Cosgrove scoops it up. And it's sent forward, but taken by Hall. Back to Cherwin it goes. Cherwin winds up and kicks it up the far side. Knocked back and taken for a second by Ament, but she lost her footing. But recovers defensively and takes it back, sends it back to Vianello upfield off the head of Leshley. Deflected again, and Ukamadou takes it. Ukamadou now racing upfield, sends a pass up, finds Chernychev, struggled to receive the pass. Now trying to dribble around a couple orange jerseys, sends it out to the far side to Ament. Ament racing up that far side. She's got some space to work. Sends it out to Ukamadou. Ukamadou coming in. Crosser walled off again. But that's going to draw another corner kick for Brookline. They'll send in the lefty Nora Shu to take this kick from the right side corner. Shu sends it in, header wide. A flurry of subs coming in for Newton South. They're sending in 4 players. I'll try and keep track of everyone who's coming in as we go. Among them, I do see number 19, Salila Cintron. And Kate Zella returning to the field. Zella takes a wingback spot after Joelle Weldon took her spot as a center back. Nice through pass attempted for Newton South, broken up for a second, but now Ginsburg trying to race after it. It is knocked out of bounds. I think they're signaling for a Newton South corner, and they are. Jackie Ginsburg did not give up on the offensive pursuit there. And now a lefty kicker setting up from the left corner for Newton South. Unusual strategy. Here it comes. Clear kick is whiffed, but recovered by Chernychev. Clear out is intercepted. but broken up again by Freeze. Attempted pass walled off by Freeze again. Zella sends it forward again, finds Masood. Masood's kick walled off by Leshley. Booted away by Ament. Recovered by Dos Anjos, sent forward, broken up. Recovered again this time by number 25, Layla Confer. Sent forward and a pass goes through, finds target, just barely disrupted by Chernychev. Big defensive play there as Chernychev lifts it out. Dos Anjos just lets that one bounce out of bounds. It'll be Newton South ball. Quick throw in, knocked out of bounds, still with the Lions. Just over 8 minutes left in the half. Dribbling. Kicked upfield, nobody there. Shu takes it and kicks it away, but it's intercepted. Long shot, saved by Cherwin. Couldn't get a full grip on it, and that draws another corner. The shot came, I think, from Masood. Cherwin made the save, but couldn't get her hands around it, and so it'll be another corner coming up for the Lions. I believe this is, not sure who's taking it, sent in low, booted away by Ukamadu. That kick was sent in, I believe, by Ginsberg. Throw in for Newton South. Collision of several players. Ginsberg tried to get around her defender with it, but ran out of real estate. Throw in coming up for Brookline. Subs coming in now for Brookline, as I believe that's McKenna Hammond returning to the field, replacing Sydney Freeze. I think one more sub came in, and I just kind of missed it. Throw in, tapped back to Ament, kicked up field, knocked down, deflecting several which ways, kicked to the middle, and it's booted away by Hall. Off the head of Cannon. Chasing after it is Dos Anjos, pass to the middle to Weldon, who kicks it away. Off ahead, bouncing forward, hard collision, pushed forward, and it's going to be booted away by Cherwin. Off ahead, downed by Chernychev, sent back to Leshley, and further back to Shu. Shu sends it forward to Cannon, taps it back to Chernychev. Chernychev looking around, gives to Shu, intercepted, recovered by Chernychev, given back to Shu. Shu sending a leader through, Cannon racing after it, but she's outpaced by Weldon, and it's kicked out of bounds. Throw in to Hammond. Hammond kicks it towards the middle, nobody there, kicked away. Downed by Chernychev. This is Kesselman dribbling with it, passes it back. Vianello out to the far side to Ament. Ament up the line, knocked away. Off the deflection, Kesselman sends it up, gets away from Ukamadu, and Dos Anjos kicks it out of bounds. Substitution for Brookline. Coming in for Brookline, I believe, is number 8, Juliana Siegel, replacing Vilena Chernychev. For those of you who watched the other live stream, you know this is the second time today we're seeing Juliana Siegel out there, as she joined a few varsity backups who saw some playing time with the JV squad in the first half. Off several deflections, that's going to go out the back end and draw another Brookline corner. They send the lefty Shu out to kick it again, as they want the spin curving towards the net. Shu kicks it, and it's saved by Cosgrove, and she recovers it off the deflection. That one almost curved in all on its own. Downed by Hall, touched forward, intercepted, but Hammond just going to let it roll out of bounds. Cintron had it for a second, but couldn't stay with it. Shu throws it in to Siegel, tap back to Shu, up the line to Hammond. Couldn't keep it in bounds. Newton South ball. Throw. Oh, they couldn't throw it in yet because the sub's coming in for Newton South. Replacing Centron, I think this is Holt coming back into the game. And it is. Throw in, off ahead, out of bounds. 3.5 minutes left here in the half. Throw in. Hall taps it upfield, gets to Hammond. Hammond boots it to the opposite end, intercepted by Dos Anjos. Kicked up the line, disrupted. Kesselman sends it forward, tapped to the outside by Cannon. Racing after it is Ament. Ament gets pushed down from behind. And South with a big push here, but it deflects too far away, and Shu's going to be the first to get there, and Shu just kicks it out of bounds. Some Brookline fans thought there should have been a call for that push on Ament, but, you know, whether you agree or disagree with the call, at the end of the day, it's the official's call, and you just got to respect it. Throw in. Tapped back to Shu. Sent upfield. Kesselman trying to take it. Kesselman trying to fight through. Kicked away by South, but intercepted by Shu. Shu keeps it inbounds along the near sideline. Taps it back to Hall. Hall boots it upfield. Gets it to Cannon. Cannon downs it. Pass to Siegel. Siegel tried to lead it for Cannon, but too far. Smith kicks it away. And Ginsburg tried to move it forward. Vianello disrupted, and they called something, possibly a handball. And either way, it's going to be a free kick for the Lions. Smith boots it towards the box, headed down, recovered by Brookline, and Vianello boots it away. Now racing upfield. Sent up the far side. Knocked out of bounds by Smith. Throw in to Leslie. Tap back out to Ament. Ament sends it back to Siegel. Siegel turning around, sends it forward to Kesselman. Kesselman back to the outside to Ament. Ament crosser to the box. Taken off the skip by Cosgrove. Kick controlled by Siegel, but it bounces. It took a weird hop and it got away from Siegel. It's controlled instead by Reynoso. Sent forward for Holt. Holt battling with Shu. Taps it back to Reynoso. Reynoso battling with Siegel, and Siegel wins that battle to get it up to Hammond. Hammond sends it back to Shu. Shu turns around, sends it back to Hall. Forward to Leslie. Leslie dribbling through the middle. Gives it to Kesselman. Kesselman dribbling up the middle. She's got some space, but walled off. Taken away, Masood. Kick walled by Vianello. And that's going to be our whistle for halftime. Our score at half. Brookline 1, Newton South 0. Brookline getting the lone goal of the half. Let's take another look at the replay of that one goal. As once again, you see that after McKenna Hammond wrestled the ball away from Masood, got a pass to Chernychev, and Chernychev sent a nice leader as Freeze snuck past the defensive line without going off sides. Freeze raced in, fired the shot far side, patiently waited for the chance to fire her shot. Beautiful score for Brookline. As now the Newton South dance team is going to take to it. So I'm going to switch over to my desktop mic and let them have the spotlight for a sec.
get back out there to exactly and then would never matter.
Please be sure to visit the concession stand for some hot chocolate pizza.
All right, that was the Newton South dance team. Nice performance there. And at this halftime intermission, I'd like to also take a moment for a local charity spotlight. I'd like to tell you about the Brookline Food Pantry. The Brookline Food Pantry provides groceries to Brookline residents in need of food assistance. The pantry saw a huge increase in demand for food assistance at the start of the COVID-19 pandemic, and that number has remained steadily high ever since. The food pantry has been serving an average of 650 households each week, more than 4 times the rate of families served pre-COVID. Brookline Food Pantry is fighting the good fight against hunger in our community, and they are always looking for more people willing to lend a hand, whether through monetary donations, direct food donations, or volunteers in the pantry. Food donations can be made at United Parish Church at 210 Harvard Street in Brookline on Wednesdays and Fridays from 9:30 a.m. to 12:30 p.m. Monetary donations can be made online at the food pantry's website, brooklinefoodpantry.org. You can go online to brooklinefoodpantry.org or call 617-800-5339 for more information about how you can help feed your community. Once again, brooklinefoodpantry.org or call 617-800-5339. And remember, as always, you can see all that information about our local charity spotlight link and phone number down in the description section down below. And also down in the description section, you can see a link to the official Venmo account for the Friends of BHS Soccer Booster Club if you would like to help support Brookline High Soccer. But for now, Brookline 1, Newton South 0. I am Jesse Mayfield-Sheehan here at Newton South High School. I'm going to take a break and mute the mic, but I'll be back for the second half of this ball game. Don't go away. Hello again, everybody. Back on the mic, I am Jesse Mayfield-Sheehan, coming to you live from Newton South High School in Newton, Massachusetts. Bringing you live coverage of today's high school varsity girls soccer contest between the Brookline High Warriors and the Newton South High Lions. It's a 1-0 lead for the visiting Warriors going into the second half. The lone goal coming from Sydney Freeze, assisted by Vilena Chernychev. Freeze becoming the sole leader in goals for the season for Brookline with that, her third goal of the season, and Chernychev with her third assist, making her the team leader in helpers. And fun fact, all three of Chernychev's assists have come against Newton South this season. We start off the second half, Brookline with the opening possession. They work it to the near side to Haley Ament, forward for Emma Eisenhower, but broken up by Jackie Ginsberg. And a couple passes, it goes back to Sienna Massoud. Nice sliding tackle by Vilena Chernychev. Gets the ball back to Brookline. Amra Ukamadou controlling it, but it was bouncing too much and it was knocked away. Ginsberg kicks it forward, taken by Babette Hall. Hall dribbling. Gets it up the far side to Sydney Freeze. Now pass to the middle to Anna Leshley. Leshley kicks a leader. Ukamadou takes it without going off sides. Ukamadou sending a leader up the middle, cut off from Lila Cannon and knocked out of bounds by Haley Smith. Deep throw in for Brookline. Throw in. And it's knocked out of bounds. Still Brookline ball. Throw in. Tapped back. Ament lifts it to the box. Bounces off a defender's foot, and Massoud slices it away. Brookline trying to keep with it. This is Freeze fighting around a defender. Pass gets to its target. Tapped back to Eisenhower. Now out to Ament. Ament fires! Saved by Cosgrove. Amanda Cosgrove, a quality keeper and senior captain for the Lions. She's made a number of nice grabs to keep this score from getting more out of hand. This one booted all the way down to the other end where it's scooped up by Brookline's keeper, Julia Cherwin. Cherwin punts it towards midfield, bouncing along off the head of Smith the wrong way, taken by Sophia Dos Anjos, but swooping in is Amra Ukamadou! Amra Ukamadou racing, charging in, shooting, scoring! Oh, no. Oh, my audio didn't come back? What Oh, no. Did I forget to I thought I unmuted. I swore I unmuted. Did I click something after the goal? Ah, jeez. After the last goal. Okay. So what happened was when I was trying to click the replay button, I must have accidentally muted the mic, but now I'm back. I'm glad I wasn't muted for the goal. That would have made me cry. But I'm back now. Thanks to the folks in the live chat for letting me know. Boy, that was a brief scare. Corner kick coming for Newton South. Again, my deepest apologies for the audio briefly cutting out. Corner kick coming in from Ginsburg and headed down, or kicked down by Ukamadu. Now booted out of the box. The Brookline players showing the flexibility. Ukamadu almost reached her leg over her head to knock that one down. Newton South keeping on the attack. Crosser coming in, and it's going to be caught by Cherwin. So live chat, can you clarify for me? Did the audio come out, cut out after Ukamadu scored the goal or before it? In the meantime, the action continues, and Eisenhower faking out a couple players to get that ball. Cannon miscommunicated with Ukamadu. It goes out of bounds. Dos Anjos to throw it in, off ahead, up to Maddie Lewis. Lewis fighting against a couple of Brookline defenders, somehow keeping the ball, gets tripped up, and draws the penalty. It was after the goal. Okay, thank you, Kevin Jernigan and Yuli Burstein and G Freeze for helping me out with this one. I appreciate it. And I'm glad I at least got the call of the goal and didn't miss any goal calls while my audio was out. Smith with the free kick, headed away nicely, I believe, by Leshley. Booted back in by South, but it's going to bounce wide. Kevin Jernigan says, "I thought you yelled too loud and broke your mic." Oh no, I think I've yelled loud. I think I've yelled even louder than that sometimes. No, I got a sturdy mic. It can take it. But boy, can you even imagine? Vianello works it up the near side to Ukamadu. Ukamadu couldn't corral it. It's taken away by Layla Confer, sent back to Dos Anjos, up the field, knocked away from Ginsburg by Ament, out of bounds. Dos Anjos to throw it back in. Booted high in the air by Ginsburg. Hall downs it dangerously. Sent back. They got to clear it out. Kicked back. Saved by Cherwin. South keeping up the pressure. Brookline struggling to clear it out. It's out of the box and corralled by Chernychev. But boy, did that get scary for a second. Ament works around her defender. Knocked away. Touch pass through to Chernychev. Over to Leshley. Leshley cutting up the middle. Leshley's got a bit of a lane. Fires a deep shot. And it misses high and wide. Just over 28 minutes still on the clock in this one. Brookline leads Newton South 2-0. Cosgrove kicks it, cross midfield, hard collision, deflects the ball over to Ament. Ament battling Confer, lost out of bounds, Newton South ball. Dos Anjos throws it in, deflects, gets to Ginsburg. Ginsburg leads for Flannery. Flannery slices it towards the middle, kicked away by Shu. Bouncing along, it's going to be taken by Cannon. Cannon sends it back to Leshley. Leshley fends off her defender. Turning around, passing it back to Vianello. Vianello sends it back to Cherwin. And back out to Vianello. Forward pressure relentless as Vianello kicks it away. Weird ricochet. Corralled by number 23. And now they're pushing forward. Just missed on that pass. Intended for number 20, who is not on my roster, unfortunately. Cherwin punts it, bounces across midfield, corralled by Cannon, passed to Freeze. Freeze sends it forward to Cannon. Cannon turns around, now passes it back up to Freeze. They're just playing back and forth passes here as Freeze continues to work it up the far side, running out of room. Crosser header misses high. Brookline's had a couple of headers miss just high today. It'll be another goal kick for Cosgrove. Kicked back by Leshley. Back and forth it goes. Eisenhower swoops in and takes it, sends it forward, misses. Cannon booted away. Headed back by Leshley. Downed, kicked away. Number 20 wanted it, but it's taken away by Hall. But outnumbered, Flannery kicks it away. Shue kicks it back, deflects down, slipping and falling, and it's taken by number 20. And some pulling back and forth, and they call the penalty on Chernychev. Now they set up for the free kick off the penalty. This will come from Smith. Bouncing along, downed kick, save, Cherwin. Number 20 just couldn't kick it the right way. If there are any Newton South fans in the live chat, want to let me know who number 20 is. And wait, what are they calling? Are they calling a penalty on Brookline as they were moving it out of their own end? I'm not sure what happened there. The ball was too low for a handball. Maybe they were saying that Leshley stiff-armed her defender too much? I have no idea. This is going to be just outside the box, being kicked by Sienna Massoud. So a bit of no man's land, but she might try and send a pass through as a bunch of Lions players are gathering. Will Massoud try and go for a shot through a narrow space, or is she going to go for a pass? Shot is blocked by the wall. And Ukamadou boots it out the sideline. Little less than 24 minutes. Deep throw in for Newton South. Comes in the box, they try and pass it through, get it to Massoud, but it's kicked away. Good defense, I believe, by Leshley. It's booted right back in, right to a Lions player, but they couldn't get it through, too much traffic. Ukamadou was trying to race it, kicked back by Smith, recovered by Leshley. Leshley dribbling, Leshley across midfield, sends it up for Ukamadou. Ukamadou charging in, sends a pass to the middle to Cannon. Tapped for Leshley. Leshley turns around, looking, couldn't turn around, and it's knocked away and out of bounds. I think Cannon had an open Chernychev on her left, but she needed to make a decision quick and looked right instead of left. Ament throws it in to Ukamadou. Ukamadou fends off her defender, starts dribbling, tries a touch pass, not enough there, and it's knocked away. Ginsberg tries a kick, recovers off the deflection, and now that deflection by Ament is going to go out of bounds. There was a substitution for Brookline. Number 9, McKenna Hammond back in the game, replacing Lila Cannon. As this ball bounces out of bounds, it'll be Newton South ball again. Dos Anjos throws it in. Ginsburg boots to the middle. Kicked up high. Off ahead now and out of bounds. Ament throws it into Eisenhower, back to Vianello. Now back to Hall and over to Vianello again. Vianello kicks it upfield, bounces past Hammond and kicked away by Weldon. Off the ricochet taken by Massoud. Massoud sends it forward, finds a target, but kicked away by Hall. Slide tackle again by Chernychev, and she slides again to push it forward. Kick deflects into the air. Off the head. Racing forward with it is Freeze. Sends the leader to the outside. Racing up the field. Looking for an angle, fighting through, but finally lost the ball. Kicked away by Cosgrove. Back to Shu. Shu sends it upfield. Freeze fighting for it. Freeze fighting around. Turns back. Looking. Still just dribbling. Cuts back again. Now sends in a crosser. It bounces and ricochets off a defender and into the arms of Cosgrove. 20.5 minutes left in this one as Hall kicks that one high. Off ahead. Controlled by 20. Knocked back. I think that was Flannery who took it. Tries to send it forward. Intercepted by Leshley. Leshley forward to Freeze up the far side. Knocked away from her. Recovered by Chernychev. Sends a leader up the far side for Leshley. Leshley rushing up the far side. Cuts to the middle. Fires. Deflected. And that's going to bounce out the back end and be another Brookline corner. It's so interesting to me that Brookline has both of their wings, Shu and Ament, essentially go to the opposite end when they set up for corner kicks. Shu kicks it out for Ament. Ament winds and fires, and it goes off the head of Ginsburg and out of bounds. Ginsburg came flying out of the box once she realized what Brookline was trying to do there. And the official talking with one of the Newton South players. As Brookline resets their formation. 19 minutes on the clock. And a whistle as I think the officials hadn't signaled for them to go yet. Throw in to Hammond. Hammond tripped up from behind. Penalty is called. Free kick coming for Brookline. This is going to be a very interesting angle to kick from. Looks like they're setting up Ament to take this kick. Doesn't really have an angle to shoot. She's going to have to cross it. Crosses in, and it misses wide. I mean, that's what's crazy is Brookline has had so many great scoring chances today that, you know, if the ball bounces a little bit differently or if Cosgrove isn't as on the ball as she is, then this could be a much bigger margin. Deflects off the foot of Massoud. Controlled by the Lions, kicked forward, off ahead, out of bounds. Throw in off ahead. Out of bounds it goes again. Still Newton South ball. Couple headers. Kicked up by Chernychev. Hammond trying to control it, but it's taken away by Smith. Passed back to Weldon. Upfield. Skips past a couple players. Fight for the ball. Won by Lewis. Lewis fighting around, backing down almost like a basketball player in the post against Hall, and finally it's kicked away, I want to say by Leshley. Out of the scrum, 20 tries to kick it forward, but it's booted away by Hall. Off the head of Smith and deflected down, and they do call the penalty on Chernychev for trying to hitch a piggyback ride off of one of her opponents. And this will be a free kick for the Lions. Smith boots it. Off one hop, it's taken by Cherwin. Cherwin throws it in. Kicked upfield by Eisenhower, taken back by Massoud, sent forward. Vianello sends it back the other way. Downed by Smith off the ricochet. It is controlled by Ukamadou. Ukamadou dribbling through the middle, tries to touch one through, misses Chernychev, and it's scooped up by Cosgrove. Pass to the middle, knocked away. Out of bounds. And kicked through the middle. Dos Anjos manages to clear it away after a couple tries. Hall deflects it back, taken by Chernychev. To the outside, Shu. Shu racing. Shu leaves it for Freeze. Freeze to the middle to Hammond. Hammond shot, save Cosgrove. Cosgrove punts it up to Lewis. Lewis tries a pass disrupted by Vianello. To the outside to, I believe, Holt. Holt, crosser, headed away by Vianello. Off the deflections, Lewis tries to touch it forward, walled off by Hall, and booted away by Shu. Race for the ball. Hammond trying to challenge. Hammond takes the ball. Hammond still working with it. Tries to send one up for Ukamadou. Ukamadou trying to fight too many orange jerseys in there, but she walls off the clear. Ukamadou fighting through. Ukamadou! Oh, just barely recovered by Cosgrove. Boy, at this level, you're not going to see too many stronger goalkeeping efforts from a team losing by 2 scores. Amanda Cosgrove has had a very strong day. And it's kind of ironic because I said a similar thing when these two teams faced off in the playoffs 2 years ago about Juliana Anastopoulos. Newton South working it up the far side. The pass is deflected back and forth. It's taken back by the Lions. They try and send one. It's wide of the net and out of bounds. This will be a goal kick. We got another injured player down. Once again, it's a Newton South player, slow to get up. But looks like she is getting up on her own. That is Maddie Lewis, the senior captain. Goal kick simply tapped to Vianello, sent to the near side to Ament. Ament forward to Paige Hammond, who has checked in. Stolen away by 20. Couple passes walled off by Hammond. Sent to Leshley, to Vianello, and forward. Ament misses, but so does the Lions player. And gets taken down from behind by number 3, Jada Kimbrough. Paige Hammond and Jada Kimbrough, another pair of players, just like Juliana Siegel, who played in the JV game today to get some extra playing time. Haley Smith now setting up for the free kick. Booted towards the box, off the head of Leshley, still dangerously in the box, deflecting up, still in the box, and finally cleared out, and Hammond takes it and runs with it, bowls over Smith, and she's still running. Hammond still running. McKenna Hammond Again, trying to force her way through the defenders, but finally just ran out of room. The Lions take it back, and Chernychev knocks it away. It goes back to Cosgrove. Cosgrove kicks it upfield. Back and forth it goes, and it's taken by Vianello. Vianello fighting through. Brookline not backing down from the fight even when they're up 2. Vianello racing up the near side. Crosser walled. Kicked away by Dos Anjos. Downed now by Leshley. Leshley sends it forward. Give and go back out to Leshley. Leshley gets around a defender. Around another. Racing. Crosser rolling through. Oh, it wound up right at the foot of Hammond, I believe, but she didn't see it coming. Brookline still keeping up the forward pressure. Ament takes it. Touch to the outside to Kimbrough. Kimbrough tries to pass back. Disrupted. Cleared out. Up to Lewis. Lewis tried to send it back. Intercepted by Kimbrough. Back to Ament. Knocked out of bounds by Lewis. Brookline keeping up the pressure even with a 2-goal lead. Ament throws it in. Knocked right back out by Masood. Throw in. Kicked right back out of bounds by Dos Anjos. Throw in to Leshley. Leshley fending off defenders. Just dribbling it along the sideline and forcing them to kick it out of bounds. These are some classic clock-eating tactics, keeping it near out of bounds, but keeping firm control of the ball, forcing the defense to knock it out so they can't ever take it away. Ament throws it in, knocked away. Controlled. Chernychev knocked away from her. Recovered. Pass to Ament, who sends it all the way back to Hall. And now all the way back to Cherwin. Cherwin up the middle to Chernychev. Chernychev looking pass intercepted by 20. Now pass forward to Lewis, trying to lead for 20. Vianello cuts it off, but it ricochets, and then Hall boots it high in the air. Kicked away from Kimbrough, but Kimbrough chases it back down. Pass for Paige Hammond, back to Ament. Ament muscles through number 20. Kimbrough takes it, and a whistle goes against Newton South. Ament boots it up the near side. Finds her target. That's Leshley. Leshley fighting, trying to gain the edge. Crosser coming through. Saved again by Cosgrove with Chernychev crashing down on her. She still kept a grip on the ball. Punt bouncing along midfield. Off the head of Lewis. Off the head of Hall. Off the head of Lewis. Off the boot of Hall. Off the head of Dos Anjos. Downed and controlled. Touched back to Paige Hammond. To the far side. To Shu. Up the line to Freeze. Back to Shu. Shu. Passes back to Hall. Hall. Turns. Sends it forward. Nobody there. It's kicked away. Recovered by Hammond. Sent back to Hall. Across to Vianello. Vianello dribbles through the middle. Vianello's got some space. Vianello racing. Got held up, and it's kicked away. Now fighting forward are the Lions. Lewis passes to the outside, has a target. I believe this is Centron. Centron working down the far side, running out of room. Her kick is walled off, out of bounds. And I believe that's going to be a corner. 4 subs coming in now for the Lions. 7 minutes, 40 seconds on the clock here in the second half. Brookline leads by 2. Corner kick comes in, headed away by Hall. But it's going to bounce out the back end again, and that's going to be another corner. Kick comes in low, deflected away, recovered, another crosser walled off, recovered again by the Lions, pass back, another one launched towards the box, walled down, recovered, shot, goes wide. The Lions kept trying to send it into the box again and again, and Brookline kept denying them. Finally, they went for a high arcing kick, and it lands just wide of the net. Sherwin gives the goal kick over to Vianello, to the near side to Ament. Ament racing up the sideline, long pass, intercepted Dos Anjos. Kicked forward, taken by Vianello to Leshley, and quickly out to Ament, back up to Leshley. Leshley shoved over from behind, and the penalty called by Ginsberg. And that's going to be a free kick for Brookline. And they want to get it up to the proper spot. Ament setting up to take it from about the 40-yard line. Simply sends a pass forward to Leshley. Leshley dribbling back around, sending a pass through to Kimbrough. Kimbrough dribbling out of traffic, passes it back to Hammond. Hammond across to Chernychev. Chernychev dribbling, sends one forward, deflects, and kicked up in the air by the defense. Recovered by Leshley and sent back to Hall. Across to Vianello. Vianello gets around her defender, dribbles up, pass misses. Ament out of bounds. We are now in stoppage time. Clock frozen on the scoreboard at 5 minutes exactly. Only the officials' triple whistle will let us know for sure when this game is over. Number 20 kicks it off the foot of Hall. Downed by Ginsberg. Controlled, passed forward, too far forward off the foot of Reynoso. And it's lost out of bounds, and we're going to see who it's out off of, or if they called a penalty, as things got very physical in the corner there. The official talking to both players who were in that mix-up, Ginsberg and Ament. Ginsberg, of course, also had that hard push on the back of Leshley. And they are going to call this a goal kick. But of note, Reynoso is back after she went down hurt briefly earlier in the second half. Good to see she's okay. Sherwin boots this one off the head of Kimbrough, off the head of Leshley, downed by Hammond. McKenna Hammond dribbling. Turns around and passes it back to Leshley. Leshley dribbling, pass into open space to Paige Hammond. Now sent back to Hall. Hall up the far side. Quick touch to Paige Hammond. Now up to Freeze. Freeze racing up the far side. She's got sneaky good speed. Crosser to the middle. Misses. Aimed for Chernychev, but just out of her reach as Cosgrove punts it away. Bounces over everybody. Chased down by Shu and sent back to Sherwin. Sherwin boots it up the near side, chased down by Kimbrough. Kimbrough knocked out of bounds by 20. Ament throw in, knocked out of bounds. Substitution checking in for Brookline. I believe that is Ukamadu checking back into the game, replacing Sydney Freeze. Throw in. Lost out of bounds. Newton South ball. Dos Anjos throws it in. It's tapped back, and Dos Anjos couldn't keep it in. Now Brookline ball. Ament throws it in for Paige Hammond. Back to Hall. Hall to the far side to Ukamadu. Ukamadu too far out in front of her. She couldn't dribble it. It's knocked out of bounds. Brookline ball. I believe that was Farouz Abadi on the defense there. I think we saw another substitution for Brookline. I think Chernychev might have checked out in favor of Mirabel Kesselman, which I can understand. Velena Chernychev, a very strong offensive player. Kesselman, with her size, a stronger asset on defense, and with a lead to protect in stoppage time, it makes some sense. But Brookline still keeping up the offensive pressure. Ukamadu back to Hammond. Poked away from Hammond by Smith. Kicked up the far side. Hall walls it off and sends it back to Sherwin. Back out to Hall and back to Sherwin. Sherwin, her pass broken up. Almost a huge chance, but Vianello gets it away, and it goes up to Kesselman. Kesselman racing it upfield, fending off her defender as she keeps going. And she gets hit and draws a penalty from number 6, Enya Vehi. That pass deflected away, and if it had gone at a tighter angle instead of deflecting as far out as it did, that could have been a goal for Newton South. Brookline gets a bit of a lucky bounce there to avoid giving up the shutout. Kesselman setting up to take this free kick from about the 30. Boots it. Cosgrove catches it and punts it away. Downed by Paige Hammond, goes up to Ukamadu. Ukamadu dribbling, cutting around, looking, firing. It misses wide. And there is your triple whistle. And the Brookline Warriors secure the win on the road and complete the regular season series sweep of Newton South. And hats off to Julia Sherwin and the Brookline defense as they secure their first full-time shutout win. They had one shutout earlier this season against Natick, but that was a game that was ended early due to thunderstorms. So this is their first full 80-minute shutout of the year. Great win for Brookline. Brookline got a nice insurance goal in the second half. Let's take a look at the replay of that once more. It was assisted by the goalie, Julia Sherwin, as it bounced off the head of Haley Smith. Sophia Dos Anjos almost had it, but Amru Ukamadu swooped in from out of nowhere, took it away, and was off to the races. And once Amru Ukamadu is off to the races, I mean, good luck stopping her with the insane speed she's got upfield. So Ukamadu and Sydney Freeze both finish with goals today. They are now tied for the team lead with 3 goals apiece on the season. Velena Chernychev collects her team-leading 3rd assist after helping on Freeze's goal, and Julia Sherwin, the goalie, with her first career assist. Brookline improves to 4-2-1 on the year, while Newton South falls to 1-4-2. Thank you all so much for tuning in today. I am Jesse Mayfield-Sheehan. Remember, if you enjoyed this live stream, be sure to hit that like button and subscribe to the channel to stay up to date on all my upcoming live streams. Plenty of good Brookline High Athletics live streams on the docket. I think I'm going to have a game every day, Monday through Thursday next week, and games on Saturday and Sunday. So be sure to stay tuned for all of that. Subscribing to the channel can help. Thank you to all those who commented in the live chat, especially when we had that brief snafu with the audio. You guys really saved my butt back there. If there's anything folks would like to say after the live stream is concluded, you can say it in the comment section down below. Or if you want to go down below to the description section of the video, you can see a link to the official Venmo account for the Friends of BHS Soccer Booster Club if you want to help support Brookline High Soccer monetarily. You can also find a link and phone number to our local charity spotlight, the Brookline Food Pantry. Find out how you can help feed your community. And if you go further down the description section or check out the bottom right corner of your screen, you'll see some more information about me. The URL to my personal website, jessesports.com. Find out more about me, the freelance sports broadcasting services that I provide to various teams, and how you can commission those services for your favorite team. Or if you want to skip all that and just request me directly, you can send me an email with any questions or requests you may have. And remember to follow me on Instagram, where I post highlights from previous live streams. But for this live stream, that is going to do it. Final score, Brookline 2, Newton South 0 from Newton South High School in Newton, Massachusetts. I am Jesse Mayfield-Sheehan. Thank you all for watching, and have a good night.